Get the unmissable news stories of the day.
This is the Beijing Hour.
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday. Now here's your host,
Shane Bigham, with you on this Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. You're listening to the Beijing Hour, coming to you live from the Chinese capital. On today's program, the annual meeting of the new champions, also known as the Summer Davos, is now underway in northeast China. Iran says it'll continue its peace talks with the United States following the discussions in Switzerland over the weekend. The UK Parliament sworn in a new Labour member who plans to run for Prime Minister. In business, China's new plans for expansion across the automotive sector. In sports, the latest group stage winners at the ongoing Football World Cup. In culture and entertainment, Shanghai's Film Plus strategy is an economic driver. And now checking the day's top stories. The annual meeting of the new champions, also known as the Summer Davos, is underway in northeast China. And Chinese Premier Li Qiang is attending the meeting in Dalian. On the sidelines of the event on Tuesday, he met his counterpart from Guinea, Amadou Hori Ba. Premier Li said China's ready to fully leverage policies, including China's zero tariff treatment and the upgraded Green Channel for African agricultural exports to China, and elevate cooperation in trade, agriculture, mining, and other sectors. Ba said Guinea looks forward to learning from China's experience in poverty alleviation and modernization, and working with China to expand cooperation in trade, infrastructure, agriculture, energy, and science and technology, and further advance key projects. Guinea was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to establish diplomatic ties with the People's Republic of China. And more than 1,700 global leaders from 90 countries and regions are gathering for the three-day event. Wen Hongjie has more.
We are back in Dalian. The annual meeting of the new champions runs from Tuesday to Thursday. We're now heading for the main entrance of the venue to experience all of them firsthand. The spirit of innovation is felt even on road. This year, visitors can ride a robo-bus, an autonomous commuting option already in regular use on Dalian streets.
There's also a very special transportation we would provide for all of the participants to this year's AMNC, and you will find this as made in China and echo this year's topic as the innovating at scale.
Dalian has hosted Summer Davos 9 times since the inaugural edition in September 2007. Deputy Director Li has witnessed a massive transformation in the 2 decades since.
You see, at that time, I was...
Dalian has come a long way. Over the years, Summer Davos has helped drive its shift toward higher quality growth, attracting global industry leaders and major investment projects. In 2025, the city's economy crossed the 1 trillion yuan mark. Its port now connects to more than 300 ports across over 160 countries and regions. Li believes that openness is what makes the coastal city resonate with the World Economic Forum. So about the first AMNC in Dalian, I compare today, what are the major differences that come up to your mind?
AI plus, and this year you'll find we found the technology have changed our way of how to operating this big event and let people to have a easier way to connect with each other.
The Dalian International Conference Center was built for exactly this biennial occasion. This year, the iconic shell-shaped landmark is operating with a sharper focus on energy efficiency.
There is electricity produced by the building. We have smart system reducing the lighting. We also work with the temperatures because, of course, in such a big space, air conditioning has an impact as well.
The venue runs on 100% green electricity, with carbon emissions expected to be cut by around 800 tons. Natural elements, including daylight and seawater cooling, have been incorporated into the design to further reduce the venue's carbon footprint.
So all the hubs, they're reused. We use them. Yes, so overall, over 70% of the stuff we're reusing. So we dismantle this, we store it here locally, then we bring it up again. If something needs fixture, we put a little bit paint. We make sure that it looks new, but at the end, all those structures, they are more than 5 years old.
This year also marks the 20th anniversary of the World Economic Forum's engagement with China.
Whenever I come maybe once a year, and you see there are new things. But it's not only the Congress Center, it's also the whole environment that happens around. It's developing.
A familiar stage, but a fantastic upgrade. A dynamic Dalian is welcoming the world's innovators.
That was Wan Hongjia reporting. Summer Davos has also seen the release of a report titled Top 10 Emerging Technologies of 2026. The report identifies key technologies most likely to shape industry, policy, and society over the next 5 years. These technologies range from next-generation clean energy, advanced materials, and biotechnology to artificial intelligence and quantum technology. And for more on the Summer Davos, Gasturi Manicum spoke to Wang Yaojing, an associate professor of economics at Peking University.
Now, this year's theme for Summer Davos is innovating at scale. How significant is this concept amid current global challenges?
Well, I think this phrase, innovation at scale, captures a very important shift in today's global economy. So innovation is no longer just about making scientific breakthroughs or developing new technologies. The real challenge is how to scale those innovations across industries, firms, and societies so that they generate broad economic value. And just like the Industrial Revolution was not just about inventing the steam engine, it was about deploying it at scale. And the same was true for electricity, automobiles, and the internet. So this theme is particularly relevant today as the global economy faces increasing fragmentation. So innovation at scale helps economies offset some of the costs created by trade barriers and demographic pressures. So from a global perspective, the key question is no longer whether countries can innovate, but whether they can build the ecosystems, the infrastructure, talent, and the institutions necessary to diffuse these innovations broadly into the economy.
Professor Wang, China has always placed a great importance in technological innovation and new quality productive forces. Having said that, how do you see China's next phase of China's economic development?
Well, China has this very unique competitive advantage, which is its unparalleled ability to practice innovation at scale, essentially in three ways. The first one is China's complete industrial clusters. And China has this geographic concentration of multi-tier supply chains that allow a technological breakthrough to achieve mass production in just a few weeks. And the second is this vast domestic application scenarios. We have new energy vehicles, highly automated smart ports, and also AI-driven agricultural networks. And China can provide this massive data pools and consumer scale that is needed to refine these emerging technologies in a very quick way. And third is the strategic alignment. And we see the rollout of these new productive forces align perfectly with the start of China's 15th five-year plan, and the sustained regulatory support and capital allocation will help China remain an indispensable global tech hub.
That was Wang Yaojing, an associate professor of economics at Peking University. Coming up, Iran says it'll continue its peace talks with the U.S.
Discover the realities and responses to our changing climate with Climate Watch. Uncover critical issues such as the Masai Mara's disrupted wildebeest migration and the drop in the Panama Canal's water levels. Delve into solutions for a sustainable future. Tune in to Climate Watch on your favorite podcast platform. Become more eco-conscious and take action to protect our planet.
9 minutes past the hour. Iran says it'll continue consultations with the U.S. after weekend talks in Switzerland. Mediators say the two countries have agreed on a roadmap towards a final peace deal within 60 days to end the war. Technical negotiations began on Monday in Switzerland. Iran says its interactions with the UN nuclear watchdog will continue in accordance with the current procedure. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has confirmed several key developments during the talks with the U.S., including exemptions for oil and petrochemical exports and the partial release of frozen Iranian assets. Walter Morris has more from Washington, D.C.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says there is a good foundation for a final peace deal, despite some tense moments over the weekend. Mediators from Pakistan and Qatar described the atmosphere of the discussions as positive and constructive. Vance delivered an optimistic message as he left Switzerland Monday. He says the U.S. and Iran have developed a roadmap to a permanent peace deal within 60 days. Following 2 days of discussions, the United States and Iran agreed on a strategy to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Officials say the two countries will form a line of communication to ensure safe passage for commercial vessels. Vance says Tehran agreed to allow in nuclear inspectors, and Washington will develop a system to handle frozen assets. Following the talks, Iran's foreign minister said the U.S. agreed to waive oil sanctions, and Monday, the U.S. Treasury Department issued a general license for Iran to produce, deliver, and sell crude oil, petroleum, and petrochemical products through August 21st. As part of the discussions, the U.S. and Iran have agreed to work together to resolve the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah.
We laid a very good foundation for a successful final deal. The final deal is the house. We set the foundation. We haven't built the house, but we've laid a successful foundation to get to a good place for the American people. But honestly, there is still a lot to do as we continue to make progress on the nuclear talks, on the economic talks, as we continue to demine the straits and ensure that that flow of traffic continues to pick back up.
Now that the high-level talks have wrapped up in Switzerland, Vance says the technical discussions will continue over the next few days and weeks. And while those negotiations continue, senior Trump administration officials are heading to the Middle East to get allies on board. This week, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will visit the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Bahrain. The State Department says Rubio will also meet with the Gulf Cooperation Council. The GCC is a group of 6 monarchies that include Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Oman. Some Gulf leaders have raised concerns over aspects of the Memorandum of Understanding that the U.S. and Iran signed last week. The State Department says during the trip, Rubio will discuss a range of regional priorities like the MOU with Iran and efforts to secure safe transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's top negotiator announced on Telegram that he's on his way to Oman to discuss management of the strait.
That was Walter Morris in Washington. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian arrived in Pakistan for a state visit. He's accompanied by a high-level delegation, including ministers and other senior officials. Prior to the visit, Iran expressed appreciation for Islamabad's mediation efforts between the U.S. and Iran. The two sides are set to discuss strengthening cooperation in key sectors, including trade, energy, and people-to-people exchanges. Top Iranian negotiator Mohammad Bakr Kalibaf has said the administration of the Strait of Hormuz will never return to the way it was before the war. He says the strait will be managed with Iranian systems and by Iran. He also says Tehran's agreed to have a communication line to coordinate the safe passage of ships through the strait. Feridun Majlesi served in Washington, D.C. and Brussels as an Iranian diplomat before the Iranian Revolution of 1979. During an interview with Saper Saremi, he said Iran and the U.S. will be able to resolve their issues through negotiations for the benefit of both sides and the global economy.
Mr. Majlesi, as you know, negotiations have begun in Switzerland. How do you see the path forward?
These negotiations are the result of a long, arduous effort and a heavy price that the country of Iran has paid to reach this point. The best solution to political and international problems is negotiation. I hope that just as a major part of the Iranian government has realised this, the negotiating team will take this understanding one step further. I also hope that the remaining factions within the Iranian government, those who, due to certain prejudices, feel that the problem can be solved through war, realise that the era of war has come to an end.
Mr. Majlesi, do you think that both Iran and the United States need this agreement to be finalized?
Yes, the United States is in great need. First, the US does not want to be known globally as a bully or an aggressor, a country that says, because I have bombs, because I have power, because I have aircraft, I can attack and impose my will upon you. The second reason is that the US needs to trade with the world. It needs to conduct business with financial hubs and resource centres. Iran and the region are among them, and this is impossible in a state of turmoil. Third, superpowers currently spend a vast portion of their revenue on military affairs rather than development, maintaining ships across the globe and hundreds of bases, which is not in their best interest. Therefore, profit lies in being involved in financial and monetary markets. The future of the world is determined by economic and commercial needs.
It was Feridun Majlesi, a former Iranian diplomat. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says effectively maintaining and implementing the agreement between Tehran and Washington will help consolidate the hard-won ceasefire. He made the remarks while meeting with Deputy Secretary Qadir Nizamipur of the Iranian Supreme National Security Council in New Delhi, where he attended the BRICS National Security Advisors meeting. Judan reports from the Indian capital.
Here in New Delhi, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with the Deputy Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. Wang Yi stated that China welcomes the launch of follow-up consultations on the MOU between Iran and the United States, facilitated by Pakistan and Qatar, and their consensus on the next steps for the negotiation mechanism. Wang Yi noted that the 14 core clauses of the MOU were hard-won. He emphasized that upholding and effectively implementing the MOU will help consolidate the ceasefire, open new prospects for Iran-U.S. relations, and bring peace back to the Middle East. For his part, Deputy Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council briefed Wang Yi on the latest developments regarding the situation in the Middle East and the Iran-U.S. negotiations. He expressed sincere gratitude to China for its consistent efforts to promote peace and talks, and highly commended the 4-point proposal put forward by Chinese President Xi Jinping to maintain peace and stability in the Middle East. He looked forward to China continuing to play an important role in pushing for the effective implementation of the first phase MOU between Iran and U.S.
That was Judan reporting. Israel says its military will continue to demolish militant infrastructure and maintain its self-declared security zone in southern Lebanon. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government's granted Israeli forces full freedom to engage any threat encountered in southern Lebanon. Top Iranian negotiator Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf says the country will not give up on Lebanon's sovereignty in ongoing talks with the U.S. He says the U.S. and Iran have agreed on a system to end the fighting in Lebanon. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi also says mediators in the U.S.-Iran talks in Switzerland made major progress on ending the conflict in Lebanon. Israel and Lebanon are due to hold a new round of talks in Washington on Tuesday. The ceasefire announced last week between Israel and Lebanon has opened up many towns in South Lebanon for the first time since they were evacuated months ago. But much of the area has been rendered uninhabitable due to Israeli bombardment. Adel Al-Marouki has more from southern Lebanon.
The new reality Israel enforced on southern Lebanon is reshaping the country. Dozens of Lebanese towns have suddenly found themselves right on the buffer zone, which the IDF stands behind. They are near what is becoming a de facto border. Leile is one of them. The further we go south, it becomes clear that the magnitude of destruction becomes way larger. Here in Leile, walking in its streets and blocks, the dominance is destruction. Very few buildings are still standing tall, intact. All the rest have been completely or partially destroyed.
Leile used to be called the Bride of the Coast. Currently, it's literally afflicted. The basic necessities of life are non-existent. There is no water, no electricity, no services, and the houses, as you see, entire neighborhoods are destroyed. About 40% of the town is totally destroyed. The rest is damaged, and those buildings standing are inhabitable. They are near collapse.
Mohsen speaks to Maysar Ahmeda, whose properties rubble now block the entire street. They're discussing how the municipality is planning to clear the road.
This house is more than 100 years old. I store cattle feed in it. The one next to it was a 4-story building. And the one over there is also ours. All of them gone. I have a farm in the valley. It too got bombed along with the butchery. About 80 solar panels were destroyed. What matters most is that I'm okay. My income goes and comes. Money goes and comes. But a soul goes and doesn't come back.
A projectile went through my ceiling. I thank God for that. I am better than the others. Their entire houses are flattened. This is our land. We won't go anywhere. I am sad. Anyone who comes here suddenly sees the changes inflicted upon their town. It's a very tough situation. Everything is sad. You lose people. You lose everything.
There are about 1,300 houses in this southern Lebanese town. It's home to some 5,000 people. Officials here tell me it will take them years before this city can accommodate all its residents once again.
That was Adel Al-Marouki reporting. Coming up, the fallout from the UK Prime Minister's resignation continues.
Pause Plus, a selection of the best podcasts in China, covering history, customs, music, literature, and in-depth dialogues. Find your way to a wealth of Chinese culture and thinking, all on Pause Plus.
At 20 past the hour, Andy Burnham has been sworn in as a Labour Member of Parliament in Britain after signalling his intention to take part in the race to find a successor to Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Former Health Secretary Wes Streeting has announced his support for Burnham. Starmer said he'll step down after the Labour leadership contest is completed. He is the sixth leader to leave Downing Street in the past decade. The ruling Prosperity Party of Ethiopia has vowed to advance democratic governance and national development after securing a landslide victory in the general election. The new parliament is set to convene in October to re-elect Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. David Mbithi has more.
Ethiopia's ruling Prosperity Party won 438 seats out of 501 in the House of Representatives. That's nearly 90% of seats. Opposition parties and independent candidates won 49 seats collectively.
And also my appreciation goes to all Ethiopian political parties. Despite all the challenges that you have faced, your participation in this popular election is indeed very significant, and my appreciation to you all for your commitment and as well as perseverance.
At the regional level, the Prosperity Party maintained a dominant position across most regional councils and the country's two city administrations, consolidating its control across both federal and regional governance structures. But opposition parties also clinched additional seats, expanding their footprint in the nation's governance system.
Some members of the opposition have got seats in the state councils and in the House of People's Representatives. And this is also a new for us as compared to the last election, which we have only very few numbers of members of the opposition, which was mainly dominated by the ruling party.
The election board noted that insecurity in the Oromia and Amhara regions resulted in 143 polling stations failing to open. It also said voting will be repeated in 11 constituencies, following reported irregularities during the electoral process. Elections were not held in the Tigray region, which is still recovering from a 2-year conflict that ended in November 2022. More than 50 million people out of Ethiopia's estimated population of 130 million were registered to vote in the election. International observers, including the African Union, IGAD and the European Union, described the election as an encouraging step in strengthening Ethiopia's multi-party democracy and democratic institutions.
That was David Mbithi reporting. From treating patients at home to delivering medical care across oceans, the Chinese Navy's hospital ships have allowed Chinese doctors to bring their skills to the world. For vascular surgeon Xiao Yu, a 234-day voyage aboard the Silk Road Ark offered not only a chance to help others, but also a deeper understanding of duty. As Dr. Xiao returns to Shanghai, Zhao Yunfei follows her daily work at Shanghai Hospital.
Personal connections between doctors and patients are usually built in the wards, especially when they've undergone an emergency.
Food enough?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
This case is also out of ordinary. The Moldovan crew member was saved from a sudden onset of disease when his ship docked at Shanghai. He was transferred to the Shanghai hospital.
I trust them because they said I wasn't the first patient they treated this way. They had performed this procedure many times before. That's why I trust them.
We are glad we can help you.
Thank you, Abri, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Dr. Xiao Yu is experienced in helping foreign patients. She was on board the Silk Road Ark, China's second domestically designed and built ocean-going hospital ship. The ship's first mission Harmony concluded in April. It had traveled to the South Pacific and Latin America, treating patients and conducting exchanges along the way. For Dr. Xiao, the stop in Brazil was one of the highlights. She introduced the endovascular assistant robot to her Brazilian peers. The surgical robot team, led by Dr. Lu Qingsheng back in Shanghai, is leading the world in having the machine perform in most part of the operation.
We have now entered an era of precise, intelligent, and minimally invasive surgery, which is aimed at a higher success rate. Promoting this from China to the world demonstrates China's leading role in this field.
Dr. Lu says Dr. Xiao is a major team member who has put innovation ideas into practice and brought the advanced technology to the world.
After our robot is officially launched, it won't need to invite our Director Lu over. By using 5G signals, Director Lu can perform surgery on patients in Brazil from China. This is a leap forward.
For Dr. Xiao, the journey is more than just providing medical care. It's also a process of professional and personal growth, recording in her diary every day. I saw the Southern Cross tonight, but I won't see it in a few more days, she wrote, as the trip returned to the Northern Hemisphere on its way back. That's when she decided to trace her path.
So I drew a map. It was all for the children. I wanted to go home and let them know where I had been, which countries I had visited, and what my journey had been like.
234 days, 36,000 nautical miles, the longest mission the PLA Navy hospital ships ever conducted by far. For Xiao Yu as a mother, it means being apart from her children for too long, but also being a role model.
I have a new understanding of my country. Patriotism has become tangible for me, and I can influence my children.
Back in Shanghai, she resumed the daily routine.
I sometimes feel a slight stinging.
Does patting help?
Patting helps a bit.
Dr. Xiao says expertise is gained from experience and patience. And this party member of 2 decades says it's all about responsibility.
As our generation went out, we also learned that each generation has its own responsibilities. The task of Mission Harmony is to implement a community with a shared future for humanity, and it reflects our responsibility.
The medical team on the Silk Road Arc treated more than 26,000 patients during Mission Harmony 2025. From saving lives at home to extending care across oceans, every mission is bringing people closer together.
That was Zhao Yunfei reporting. The UN's Deputy Special Envoy for Syria says the challenges facing the country's transitional parliament are immense. Claudio Cordon told the Security Council that the People's Assembly has yet to be constituted, more than 8 months after Syria's main elections. A third of its members still need to be appointed by the president, and Cordon warned the delay is creating anxiety.
The delay is generating anxiety. Syria needs the People's Assembly to begin its work, and it needs all Syrians, in particular Syria's women and its various components, to feel meaningfully represented in it. The scale of the challenges facing this transitional parliament cannot be overstated. New laws need to be debated and adopted. Executive action needs to be reviewed. Diverse voices must be heard and progress made on the transition.
In the meantime, the government reported nearly 6,000 people linked to the former regime are in detention and awaiting prosecution for alleged crimes since 2011. A shooting in Montreal on Monday has left 3 people dead. Montreal Police Chief Fadi Degger said they responded to a call around 11:30 in the morning. One officer was killed on duty, another's in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. A civilian was also killed, and the suspect was shot dead at the scene.
Well, at the beginning, we didn't know what we were expecting. We didn't know what we were facing. That's why we had one crime sign. And then we had a different perimeter in different area, just to make sure that we really neutralized the right person, the suspect himself.
Authorities have not determined a motive for the shooting. We're at 29 past the hour. Beijing's getting thunder showers tonight and tomorrow. A low of 20 and it's up to 30 on Wednesday. Shanghai will see a light rainfall through tomorrow with a low of 22 and a high of 26. Chongqing has a light rainfall in the forecast tonight and tomorrow, a low of 23 and a high of 26. Nanchang will see moderate rainfall this evening, easing to thunder showers tomorrow with a low of 23 and a high of 27. Lhasa will be cloudy tonight and tomorrow, a low of 15 and a high of 25. And elsewhere in Asia, Islamabad will see a light rainfall tonight, becoming cloudy tomorrow, a low of 27, and it's up to 38 on Wednesday. It's time for a short break. So far this hour, the annual meeting of the new champions, also known as the Summer Davos, is now underway in northeast China. Iran says it'll continue its peace talks with the United States following the discussions in Switzerland over the weekend. The UK Parliament sworn in a new Labour member who has plans for running for Prime Minister. Shane Bigham with you. Stay with us here on the Beijing Hour.
From the refreshing cup of tea that starts your morning to the paper that you write on, the roots of many familiar parts of modern life can be traced back to ancient ideas. Join us on Made in Ancient China and discover how ideas born millennia ago became some of the world's greatest treasures. Made in Ancient China brings you stories of human ambition, inspiration, and connection. Now available on all major podcast platforms. Shh, listen up. Can you hear the heartbeat of our world? It's vibrant and pulsating with the essence of life itself. From the stem of trees to the gurgle of rivers. From the silent strength of mountains to the icy whispers of glaciers. Even the solid ground beneath our feet. Right there, in the midst of all, beats the heart of humanity. What if those other heartbeats were to stop? Would ours keep on ticking?
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday. Now here's your host.
Shane Bigham with you on this Tuesday. Still to come. In business, China's new plans for expansion across the automotive sector. In sports, the latest group stage winners at the ongoing Football World Cup. In culture and entertainment, Shanghai's Film Plus strategy is an economic driver. To contact us, you can email radio@cgtn.com or follow our X account at CGTN Radio. You're also welcome to subscribe to our Substack newsletter Beyond Beijing for the world's biggest stories, along with sharp insights and exclusive analysis. But now check out the day's headlines. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says India is an important neighbor of China and that bilateral relations have returned to the track of recovery and improvement. He made the remarks while meeting with Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval in New Delhi, where he attended the BRICS National Security Advisors meeting. Wang says the leaders of the two countries agreed that China and India are partners instead of rivals. He says this strategic consensus has driven the healthy and stable development of bilateral relations. Wang says China supports India in fulfilling its responsibilities as the rotating chair of BRICS. Doval says India is willing to view its relations with China from a strategic perspective and jointly implement the consensus reached by the two leaders. He says India remains consistent in its position regarding the Taiwan question. China's Shenzhou 23 astronauts have completed their first medical rescue training since arriving at the Tiangong space station. The crew includes Zhu Yongju, Zhang Zhiyuan, and Li Jiaying. They practiced rescue techniques in microgravity. They also conducted scientific experiments studying gut health and nutrition and running behavioral tests on visual processing and decision-making. Launched last month, the mission includes a one-year stay to gather data for future long-duration space exploration missions. Continuous heavy rain has hit several southern Chinese provinces since Sunday, triggering flooding. In Anhui, cities including Ma'anshan and Mingguang opened sluice gates and ran pumping stations at full capacity to drain urban areas and lower reservoir levels. In Jiangsu, farmers are clearing ditches and opening drainage gates to protect their crops. In Guizhou, torrential rain flooded Liping and Libua counties, affecting thousands of people. More than 600 rescue workers have evacuated over 2,300 residents and are repairing power and communication lines. The National Meteorological Center forecasts heavy to extremely heavy rain in southwest China and the Zhenghuai region through Wednesday. Authorities warn that Guangxi, Guizhou, and Hunan will face high risks of flash floods and geological disasters. Construction on the new Jinma Bridge in Guangdong Province has reached a major milestone with the final closure completed on Monday. As part of the Guangzhou-Jiaoqing Expressway expansion in southern China, the bridge stretches nearly 2,000 meters and features a main tower 132 meters tall. It runs parallel to the existing bridge just 17 meters apart. The project is a key transportation upgrade for the region. With this closure, overall progress now exceeds 70%. The new bridge will open the traffic at the end of next next year. Once operational, it'll significantly boost traffic between the major cities of Guangzhou, Foshan, and Zhaoqing, easing congestion and supporting regional economic growth. The expansion is one of the province's largest infrastructure projects currently underway. Iran has announced plans to hold a funeral for late Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei next month. The funeral is set to start in Tehran on July 6th and conclude with his burial in Mashhad on the 9th. Khamenei died in the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran in late February, which sparked the months-long war. He led the Islamic Republic for more than 30 years. After his death, Iran named his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, as Supreme Leader of the country. New Zealand police are investigating a series of emailed threats against schools and other institutions nationwide, which have prompted evacuations and lockdowns. Specialist cybercrime investigators are working to identify the source of the emails. Police Minister Mark Mitchell said there is no confirmed evidence that the emails originated overseas. You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up in business, China's new plans for expansion across the automotive sector.
The Beijing Hour, your window on China and the rest of the world.
36 past the hour. Stock markets on the Chinese mainland closed lower on Tuesday. The Shanghai Composite was down nearly 1.4%. The Shenzhen Component lost almost 3.2%. Major banks and pet care shares led the gainers. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index declined over 1.8%. Japan's Nikkei dropped almost 3.6%. The Chinese Commerce Ministry has announced measures to intensify efforts to promote the full chain expansion of the auto sector. The measures designate 40 pilot cities. Each pilot city shall address bottlenecks such as unreasonable restrictions on automobile circulation and sales, and cultivate new scenarios in business forms. For instance, Tianjin will focus on automobile modification, classic cars, and racing. Yangzhou will prioritize RV camping, while Weinan will focus on scrap vehicle recycling and utilization. Meanwhile, the ministry has also released other measures to cultivate and expand automobile aftermarket sales. A report released at the ongoing China International Supply Chain Expo shows global supply chains are becoming more resilient, efficient, and dynamic, even as geopolitical tensions persist. The Global Supply Chain Report 2026 from the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade adds 6 new supply chain maps this year, including artificial intelligence, hydrogen energy, and maritime shipping. That brings the total number of mapped supply chains to 23 since the first expo 3 years ago. The Council also released its Global Supply Chain Resilience Indices, which now include dedicated indices for the United States and European Union for the first time. Overall index readings from 2018 to 25 show that global supply chain promotion, connectivity, and resilience all registered gains. Experts say building resilient supply chains requires countries to deepen collaboration and share technology openly, rather than turning to protectionist or unilateral policies that disrupt international trade. There are around 40 exchange activities at the ongoing China International Supply Chain Expo. The event brings together governments, businesses, and industry leaders to exchange ideas, share solutions, and build partnerships that enhance supply chain stability. Some of the key areas of cooperation include AI, clean energy, and infrastructure. And a growing number of foreign companies are in attendance. Representatives from several companies have highlighted the need for collaboration. And with more on the expo, Lincoln Humphreys spoke with Zhou Mi, a senior research fellow at the Chinese Academy of International Trade and Economic Cooperation.
So AI is already reshaping factory floors and warehousing. I've seen this in action. But where does it move the needle in cross-border trade? How exactly is smarter algorithms cutting customs delays, port congestion, and overall logistics costs?
Well, as you mentioned, there are so many areas and fields that AI can be used and applied. I think that a lot of companies are already began to do that. It's not only just from the logistic companies who are able to calculate the cargoes and the ships and also manage the schedule of these deliveries. I think that is also for the companies who are able to prepare for the inventories and also prepare for the kind of products according to the demand of the customers. So it's identical. It's not just identical products. They can design based on the individual requirement by the consumers. And the governments are able to deal more artificial intelligence to improve the efficiency and trying to reduce the custom clearance. And that is definitely what we are able to deal with our trading partners about other countries. We are able to develop a better environment to support the trade to move as smoothly as we can.
China's supply chains are now spanning advanced manufacturing, of course, from clean energy to smart vehicles, robotics. How can AI turn these into a truly integrated systems, if you will, so that decisions in one sector instantly optimise production, sourcing and demand signals across the entire chain?
Well, AI is able to deal with the data in a much wider way. I think that is not only about the AI itself. I think that the front side, about the sensors, about the different kind of connections will be connected and will be founded. So the kind of ecosystem that are able to link by the ecosystem, I think that China has proposed that we are going to initiate AI plus strategy. It's kind of a strategy to cover everything. So we are able to connect with all this kind of data, and we are using the data centers to have a better computation ability to deal with this data. And I think that based on this kind of computations, we can have a better prediction about the corporation in real time. And that is definitely will be able to shared by all the related stakeholders, no matter whether they are in China or they are doing businesses with Chinese companies.
That was Senior Research Fellow Joe Mee talking about this year's China International Supply Chain Expo. The China International Supply Chain Expo features its first ever dedicated AI zone. Juju takes us through some of the high-quality highlights on display.
This year's China International Supply Chain Expo for the first time set up an AI zone, bringing together major Chinese and international tech giants such as NVIDIA, Intel, and Alibaba. Well, right behind me is the exhibition zone for NVIDIA. Its founder, Jensen Huang, also delivered his opening remarks, saying that over 1.6 million Chinese developers have built industrial AI applications on NVIDIA platform. From data collection to computing power to real-world applications, the full AI value chain is all on display here. And right next door is Hall W3, is the advanced manufacturing chain, where more than 80 companies from China and abroad are gathered here. And the aviation industry chain is one of the highlights. 15 of the world's top aviation manufacturers are taking part, covering the entire aircraft lifecycle, from upstream materials to precision manufacturing, all the way to post-delivery operations and services. Together, they present a fully connected end-to-end industrial chain for large aircraft. Well, this year also features a new low-altitude economy zone where nearly 30 leading companies are showcasing a complete ecosystem, from cutting-edge technologies to innovations to future industry trends.
That was Juju reporting. TCL is a leading Chinese electronics brand. This year, the company's booth has moved from the Advanced Manufacturing Hall at the Supply Chain Expo to the AI Hall for the first time, showcasing its determination to embed AI into every aspect of its business. Zhang Junfeng sat down with TCL Technology CEO Wang Cheng to get his thoughts on AI technologies.
What do you think are some of China's advantages in AI development and AI application?
Everybody knows that China, the core competencies is that we have very, very strong manufacturing capability. We have well-established supply chain ecosystem. More importantly, big consuming market in the world. For example, the consumer electronics. This market, last year, the whole market value is about 8 trillion RMB. So that creates a lot of innovation with the latest technology. Some company like TCL and a lot of startups, they have this kind of passion. They want to have the AI to embed it with the traditional hardware to make a real intelligence to change people's daily life.
As an advanced manufacturer in China, TCL has moved its booth from the Advanced Manufacturing Hall in Supply Chain Expo this year to the AI Hall. What's the reason behind this?
In past several years, we invest a lot of money to use AI to empower our supply chain management, empower our R&D, and also we would like to use that for manufacturing process and to improve the customer, their certification. We call this AI for real, hit the ground, make something happen.
That was TCL Technology CEO Wang Cheng talking about China's AI development and application. A China-Europe freight train bound for Russia is carrying over 180 automobiles from China Chang'an Automobile Group with a new kind of car container. Chongqing is boosting the capacity of China-Europe freight train services to meet growing demand for auto exports compared with traditional containers. The new ones can hold up to 4 sedans or 4 SUVs per unit, reducing the transport cost per vehicle. Meanwhile, the new container is designed to be compatible with rail, road, and maritime transport, offering more flexible options to build an efficient multimodal transport network. China successfully launched its latest communication technology test satellite. Satellite number 26A is designated, or rather designed for broadcasting, data transmission, and technological verification. This marks the third launch in the series this year, following the June 11th deployment of satellite number 25, which focuses on multi-band and high-speed communication tests. The program began in September 2015. Since then, missions have expanded to include high-rate data transmission and low-orbit satellite verification. The latest launch continues China's steady progress in advancing space-based communication infrastructure. The European Central Bank president has warned that the euro area's economic outlook remains highly uncertain. Despite a recent peace agreement in the Middle East, inflation faces upside risks and growth is skewed to the downside. Speaking at a European Parliament hearing in Brussels, Christine Lagarde said the conflict has already pushed up energy prices, lifted inflation, and weighed heavily on economic activity. She added that the war's long-term impact will depend on how intense and long-lasting the energy shock is, as well as the scale of its ripple effects across the broader economy. You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up in sports, the latest group stage winners at the ongoing Football World Cup.
Sideline Story brings you all things sports related. The hottest topics, latest events, juiciest stories, all with a very personal take. Subscribe to Sideline Story Podcast for heated sports discussions covering events that are happening in China and around the world.
47 past now, turning to sports. In Group J action of the World Cup, Jordan suffered a 2-1 defeat to Algeria after taking a first-half lead. Jordan looked on course for a historic result, but Algeria fought back to level the match before Amin Gouiri struck a late winner in the 82nd minute. The result leaves Algeria with a crucial win as the group stage battle continues to take shape. In the other Group J fixture, defending champions Argentina secured their place in the knockout stage with a 2-0 victory over Austria. Argentina maintained their strong tournament form, extending their winning streak to 8 matches since their opening loss to Saudi Arabia at the Qatar 2022 tournament. After the win, Argentina tops Group J on 6 points, with Austria second and Algeria close behind on goal difference. France has secured its place in the last 32 after a 3-0 win over Iraq in Philadelphia, and a match heavily affected by a lengthy weather delay. France striker Kylian Mbappe scored twice as the two-time champions controlled much of the contest and made their dominance count in the front of the goal. Mbappe's goals, which came for either side of a nearly 2-hour suspension due to thunderstorms, took his World Cup tally to 16, level with Germany's Miroslav Klose for second on the all-time list. France coach Didier Deschamps admitted the disruption posed challenges, saying the situation was unprecedented for him and highlighting concerns over the tight schedule, while still welcoming qualification with a game to spare.
This is the first time this has happened to me. I hope it's the last for the players too. But we know the risk is present here. The time between the start and the end of the match is long, even more so since we have another game in 4 days. But the main thing is we've achieved these 6 points and secure qualification.
From the Iraqi side, coach Graham Arnold reflected on a frustrating evening, acknowledging his team's mistakes while insisting they had periods where they controlled possession and executed their game plan.
Obviously, a few of our mistakes could have contributed to a long break of 2 hours with the storms, but you've got to look at the positives of playing against number 1, number 2 in the world. Fantastic team, fantastic players, and we outpossessed them, and that was our plan, was to outpossess them and keep the ball. So because I felt that they weren't a great pressing team, you know, it was good that we kept the ball the way we kept it, and as I said, we outpossessed them, but obviously they outscored us.
Well, France's victory ensures they advance comfortably, maintaining their status as one of the tournament favorites. And with more, here's Yang Guang in the studio. So Kylian Mbappe bagged another brace in his 100th game for France. How would you sum up his overall sharpness for the national team right now?
Right, Mbappe is without question the pillar of this France team. His efficiency and finishing are simply world class. And those first two World Cup games were the perfect response to the critics at Real Madrid, who questioned his defensive work rate. 4 goals, 2 wins, 6 points, that speaks for itself. When you have a talent like that, you build your tactics around him. His priority is scoring goals, not tracking back, because that's where he delivers the most value. Didier Deschamps clearly understands this. He gives Mbappe total freedom up front. Yes, France have other brilliant attackers like Dembele, Olise, Doué, but Deschamps has made it crystal clear Mbappe is the offensive heartbeat. Everyone else is there to find him. With that level of support and that comfort zone on the pitch, he maximizes his threat and France keeps winning. It's their proven formula.
All right, Norway secured its place in the last 32 after a 3-2 victory over Senegal in New Jersey. Once again, Erling Haaland was the difference maker, scoring twice as Norway maintained their perfect start to Group I. Norway opened the scoring just before halftime. After the break, Haaland got one before Senegal hit back. But Norway stayed in control, and Haaland added a second to make it 3-1. Senegal struck again. The game ended, of course, 3-2. Haaland said that he's proud to be part of Norway's history-making run.
The level tonight, of course, we play against a good team, Senegal, so it's not easy, but we managed to win the games, and I don't know how many games we have won now in a row with obligatory games or official games or whatever you want to call it. I think it's 12 in a row or something, and that shows something. So I'm part of something special. Norway is part of something special. We're making history, and I'm extremely proud to be Norwegian.
Norway and France are now through to the knockout stage with 6 points each, with France top of the group on goal difference. Yang Guang, Norway will meet France in the next round, with both teams already safely through to the knockout stage. How do you expect the two sides to approach this game?
Yeah, France against Norway would be one of the most mouth-watering group stage clashes. Mbappe versus Haaland. But the fact that both sides already through has lowered the stakes and has made it look like a friendly. However, the group standings are crucial for the knockout bracket. If France top the group, they'd likely face Germany in the last 16, with Spain and the Netherlands in the same half, which I think they'd actually prefer. If they drop to second in the group, they fall into the opposite half, potentially alongside Brazil, Argentina, England, and Portugal. That's a much tougher route. I don't expect France to go all out for the win in this game. They would avoid defeat and probably rotate to avoid fatigue and injuries too. And while Norway does have Haaland, breaking down this French defense looks like a tall order. All things considered, I think both sides would be happy to settle for a draw, and the match feels much like a reset ahead of the knockouts.
All right, thank you very much. That's Yang Guang with some World Cup analysis. You're listening to the Beijing Hour, and coming up in culture and entertainment, Shanghai's Film Plus strategy is an economic driver.
You've been listening to programs from CGTN Radio.
CGTN Radio.
We invite you to visit us online for more audio, pictures, and in-depth reports. At radio.cgtn.com, you can access a wide range of programs and find your favorite news, talk, features, entertainment shows, and podcasts. Hear the difference with CGTN Radio.
53 past now, turning to culture and entertainment. Shanghai is tapping into its rich cultural heritage to spark new economic growth. From beloved animation classics to high-definition opera productions, the city's Film Plus strategy is turning cultural entertainment into a powerful economic engine. Jung Saran reports.
Shanghai Animation Film Studio has reopened its iconic campus, now transformed into an integrated complex featuring a flagship store, exhibition spaces, a cafe, and a screening hall. The studio is giving new life to classic characters from the renowned world of Guoman, or Chinese animation. Once treasured figures from hand-drawn classics, these nostalgic icons are now being reimagined as sought-after merchandise, attracting a new generation of younger audiences.
My favorite film is Nobody. I saw on social media that the world's first flagship store opened here, so I came to buy some merchandise. Everything is so cute and well designed. I just couldn't resist.
上门影的 IP 其实都是我们童年时候最好的那个记忆。
These characters are the best memories of our childhood, like the Calabash Brothers and the Monkey King. This is the first physical space for the characters, offering themed drinks and displaying rare hand-drawn manuscripts. For fans like us, it's incredibly exciting to be here.
The revival of these beloved stories reflects a strategic step for a city long recognized as the birthplace of China's film industry. The approach also stretches from stage to screen, bringing acclaimed world-class theater productions into cinemas as immersive viewing experiences. In doing so, it creates a new consumption model where audiences come together around productions, drawn not only by collectible merchandise, but also by the sense of community and the shared experiences they inspire.
今年的中旬的票和这场票都买了。
I bought tickets for both this year's live tour and this film screening. I even designed my own memorabilia. Juice Shanghai Center Theater offers beautiful collectible tickets, but I rushed here from work and was just too late to get one. Still, I bought the official ticket album, a stamp book, and this magnet. They're great souvenirs.
These initiatives are opening up new revenue streams while creating fresh cultural destinations.
That was Jung Saran reporting. A young action film enthusiasts from around the world have completed a 5-day cultural exchange at the Jackie Chan Stunt Team Training Base in Beijing. They learned martial arts and action filmmaking under professional stunt coaches. Parents who accompanied their children said they saw clear improvements in their children's confidence and personal growth.
It's her confidence level and her excitement of doing the skills and just growing in strength and stamina. It's so fun to watch her grow and to just see how excited she is and to be able to kind of show off some of her skills that she's been learning.
He trained hard. When he would come home at night, he would tell the things that he had practiced and learned and show the bruises on his arms as he did the body work and the forms that he learned. So I noticed that he stands taller and he walks a little bit more proud because of what he's learned here at the training.
Now, organizers said this program aims to inspire young filmmakers by blending traditional martial arts with modern action storytelling. The Chinese dance film A Tapestry of a Legendary Land has dazzled audiences in Toronto, Canada, following its recent release. Inspired by the famed landscape scroll 1,000 Miles of Streams and Mountains from the Northern Song Dynasty, the film is launched its 2026 screening season as part of a global rollout. It follows a cultural relic researcher who, while studying the nearly 12-meter-long scroll, is transported across centuries, where he encounters the artist and gains insights into the creation of the masterpiece. Chinese audiences overseas in Toronto have also expressed excitement about the growing international reach of Chinese cinema. We're at 57 past the hour. Beijing's expecting thunder showers overnight and through tomorrow, a low of 20, and it's up to 30 on Wednesday. Shanghai will see some rainfall through tomorrow, a low of 22 and a high of 26. Chongqing has a light rain tonight and tomorrow, a low of 23 and a high of 26. Nanchang will see moderate rainfall, easing to thunder showers tomorrow, a low of 23 and a high of 27. Lhasa will be cloudy tonight and tomorrow, a low of 15 and a high of 25. And that's it for this edition of the Beijing Hour. Making news today, the annual meeting of the new champions, also known as the Summer Davos, is now underway in northeast China. And Iran says it'll continue its peace talks with the U.S. following the discussions in Switzerland over the weekend. On behalf of the staff, this is Shane Bigham in the Chinese capital, hoping you'll join us for the next edition of the Beijing Hour and open a window to the world together.
Find the Beijing Hour at precisely 6 p.m. Beijing time. We meet you on podcast and on air every weekday. The Beijing Hour, your window on China and the rest of the world.
He can't live without the Yellow River in his eyes.
The Yellow River is so noble and elegant.
Both my grandpa and dad made a living from the river.
Would you like to move away from the Yellow River?
I don't think I will. I love it so much.
The Yellow River, the second longest river in China, is regarded as a shaping force in the history, economy, and culture of northern China. Today, about 100 million people live within its water basin, making up nearly 9% of the country's population. How is climate change felt at its headwaters, and what are the locals doing to cope with it? What are the descendants of the boatmen doing? What has kept some people from leaving their home village by the river, and what has drawn others back? Could the fading fishing community revive in a time of digital transformation? From 2021 to 2024, our reporters visited the upper, middle and lower reaches of the Yellow River, talked to the herders, farmers, boatmen, fishermen and eco-activists who share a close bond with the river, and present their stories in pictures, podcasts and videos, all in our 12-part series, The Yellow River Mosaic, available only on CGTN Radio